Please tell me which country in the world would you like to join up with and put your future in their hands. The hyphenation normally happens with a neighbor who's not so nice.
In many areas, clearly the US is going to get a run for its money.
This is the essence of neighborhood first policy. India has to be the go-to option in any crisis for the entire subcontinent. India must operate in a multipolar environment while itself preparing to emerge as a pole. That is why multi-alignment serves it well right now, and the goal of becoming a leading power is a natural one for the future. Imagine if you were not today adopting strategic autonomy. Please tell me which country in the world would you like to join up with and put your future in their hands. I can't think of anybody. If you can, I'd like to hear that. I mean, to me, my interest is best secured by actually maximizing my options, maintaining my freedom of choices, handling change by continuously, see, the pace of change that I tried to describe to all of you means you have to keep revising, keep refreshing, keep adjusting. The first question about hyphenation. Now, we have multiple neighbors. Some are clearly better than others. And the hyphenation normally happens with a neighbor who's not so nice. Now, you have to understand, when we say dehyphenation, that means it's our objective and our approach that decisions made by third countries about us are not made keeping that relationship as the lens or as the factor of calculation or factor of primary calculation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they would accommodate us. I think you will always see attempts, to balance us off, or if there is a situation, to use that situation for their own ends. That is the competitive nature of international politics. From our perspective, the best way of dehyphenation is frankly to outstrip the other party in terms of power and capability. Neighbors are always challenging because they are neighbors. That there will be, issues with neighbors which you will not have with countries who are one layer or more removed. So it's not as though India has problematic neighbors. Every country has problematic neighbors. Every big country has more problematic neighbors. Now, when you have a policy, the purpose of a policy is not to solve a problem. The purpose of a policy is to manage relationships to your national advantage. Now, the whole idea of neighborhood first was one, to give our neighbors a certain primacy, a certain priority of attention. Number two, by attention here means giving resources, giving a kind of a political energy, which was not there before neighborhood first came into being. Do try to accommodate neighbors. In fact, we do more than accommodate neighbors. If you look at the kind of support we extended to Sri Lanka during its economic crisis, or the kind of support we gave even today to the Maldives, or what we did during COVID, or the kind of fuel and fertilizer supplies that we gave after the Ukraine conflict started. So we have gone, as my remarks I said, we need to become the go-to country because we are the largest. We are the common neighbor to the entire region. But that doesn't prove, it against other, interests that they may have, positions they may take. So we can accommodate them to the extent our national interest allows them to do so.
Whatever happens, at the end of the day, there has got to be a trade understanding with the United States. There has to be one because it is the world's largest market, but also because it is, much of the world has reached those understandings. But it has to be an understanding where our bottom lines, our red lines are respected. In any agreement, there are things you can negotiate and there are things you can't. And I think we are pretty clear about that. And we have to find that landing ground. And that's been the conversation really which has been going on since March. The US stands vis-a-vis China. Again, it's very hard to give a sweeping answer. But the fact is that in many areas, clearly the US is going to get a run for its money, which would not have been the case a few decades ago. And these are, I would say, instructive for a country like India, which is, how do you build those deeper strengths? How do you create a workforce, the startup culture, the entrepreneurship, the institutions, really to look at imbibing, absorbing and creating technology.